All right. Hello, everyone. Hope you're all doing well. Let me see who we have here. We have three people showing or watching, and one person who's brave enough to say hello, and that's Mr. Crusher. Hello, Mr. Crusher. So, can I ask my question regarding HOCD? Yes, of course. Go ahead. Go ahead. And for the ones who are curious, this is not an alcoholic beverage. This is a zero alcohol. It is just beer with zero alcohol, meaning when they made it with no alcohol. It's not like it's an alcoholic beer, then they alcoholized it. No, it never had alcohol. That's why I'm drinking. All right. So, Mr. Crusher says it will be in three parts. So, obviously, you like Star Trek Next Generation, right? Is that where you got the name Crusher? Ensign Crusher? So, since it's a big question, I'm going to type now, sir. Well, if it's a huge question, I can only answer, you know, enough because it's not going to be turned into a one-on-one Skype consultation. It should be questions that would be not taking more than a couple of minutes of discussion. Go ahead, I'll read it. If it's too big, then you got to just simply make an appointment and then we'll discuss what's concerning you one-on-one on Skype. And remember, guys, we now have a rule, and I don't know where you guys watching. We had a live stream a couple of days ago, and everyone decided, it was suggested, and I accepted, that from now on, in order to support the channel, all questions need to have a super chat. Otherwise, the channel will have to close down. Because unless we have economically viable channel, we cannot do what we are hoping to do. I cannot accomplish what I want to hope to accomplish, helping everyone and putting the time and the research, and at the same time, maybe if you can do some ads to increase the subscription of the channel. So all of that needs to be viable. So Jesse from Germany suggested that this is not good that you've been working. I mean, I talked about it and she came up with the idea that it's 12, 13 years helping everyone, but the channel doesn't have enough support. That's why I don't do live streams anymore, while I love to help people. However, there is zero support, and it's just questions. And I've done that for 13 years, but it's time for us to respect the research and the channel and help the channel to grow, promote it to other people. And when we have a live stream, every question now would need to have a super chat. That's not for me to survive, that's for the channel to survive. And so that's as bluntly as I can put it. Now, let's see. Oh, we have Stephen here. Says, hi, Mara. Stephen, male 43 LA. That's it. That's very good to see you. Says, I don't get notification for some reason. I know. YouTube is terrible in, letting my channel to be known by simply not giving notifications. And I wonder what's the philosophy behind it. Says, I don't get notification for some reason that you're live. I was on YouTube. I just saw that you're live. Yeah, well, have you pushed the button? Look, Stephen didn't even have a question, but Stephen gets number one to ask his questions, and I'll be more than happy to comply. And this is how we talk about supporting the channel. The channel is going to go out of business, guys. If you think these 3,000 videos have been helpful to you, and over 1,500 videos of OCD and OCD subset, intrusive thoughts, and HOCD has been helpful to you, then for heaven's sake, you got to help it out. Otherwise, YouTube is not letting the people to know that we exist to increase our subscription numbers. After 13 years, we only have 28,000. So thank you, Stephen, for your support. You didn't have to do it. You I never had a question, but at least maybe others can learn. So, having said that, and I have to say that I apologize, but this is the way I have to make it clear because we haven't had the support that the channel needs, not me. I make my living somewhere else. But the channel needs support. I'm not going to spend my money for this channel anymore. So if the channel has money, we continue. If it doesn't, well, we just perish like YouTube wishes us to perish, I guess. So, Steven says, unless I turn notification off, I doubt it. But let me check. Yeah, check and let me know if at least it gives us some notion of if YouTube is purposely not circulating my live or even my channel content, or is it just the way it is? In the meantime, let me see what Mr. Crusher says. Again, remember, guys, the new rule is every question, in order to help the channel to grow before we perish out of having no finances, the channel is going to spend its own money on the channel. No longer I will subsidize the channel, which I've done for 13 years. So you want this channel to exist, every question needs a super chat. And that's what was decided last live stream with actually a suggestion of Jessie from Germany. And she gave us a brilliant idea, and that's now the rule. Let me just put it in here. Questions are welcome, but only with super chats, as the channel needs to survive and not perish. Oh, we're supposed to perish, right? There we go. Okay, now we said it. It's official. It's too bad that I have to become like this. I mean, announce it. For 13 years, we never said anything, but we hardly, anyhow, here we are. So let's see what Stephen came up with. Stephen says, actually, I have a question. Oh, good. Let's go. You're entitled to it. Says, I've been, did you check if the thingy for YouTube announcement is turned on or not? Stephen says, I have been working at this hospital for 2 years now. Yes. And he says, I still at times get some anxiety before work because I don't know what to expect or have gained the confidence that I need. You don't know if you've gained the confidence in me. Okay. What's the best way to overcome this? Well, the best way to overcome is don't perceive, don't project, don't guess. Just tell yourself, I don't know, maybe it'll be just perfectly easy tonight. Because that's a possibility. You will either have a hard evening that you are not really aware of how things will, should be, and you need maybe some supervisor's attention, or it will be just something that is up your alley and you've done that 100 times. So the question is, why should you believe a thought that has no evidence that it would be that way, especially that this thought suggests something in the future is going to be in a certain way? But that future, that something is supposed to be in a certain way, as the thought has proclaimed or suggested, hasn't even arrived. So when the time and space, has not arrived, how can you actually believe a hypothesis that in the future, when you go to work, it's a future, things would be in a certain way? So what is that anxiety for? That anxiety is for uncertainty. You are seem to be want to or accustomed to having certainty. You want to know what the conclusion is. Yet, all your life, all of us have lived our lives with having become masters of living in an uncertain world. Nothing since we have been born have been certain for us. Nothing. We were born, we didn't know anything. We didn't know where the next food is coming. What they fed us. Then we're going to school. We didn't know if we're going to get in a fight or not, or how the school is going to be, how much homework we're going to have. None of it. We knew none of that. But we handled it. And growing up, how the love life is going to be, if you're going to have a girlfriend or not, or whatever your situation is. But we handled it. Exams in university and whatnot, we handled it. So everything was unknown and uncertain, yet we handled it perfectly, yet we are worried about uncertainty. Your whole life has been uncertainty. What is it that you get anxiety? You never got anxiety before when you were a child, growing up, not knowing what's going to be, awaiting you in the classroom. Is the teacher going to call me up and tell me to come to the blackboard and ask me questions? I didn't know that. You had no idea what's going to be happening through your life, what kind of job you're going to get, what kind of exams response you're going to get. None of that was available to you. None of that information was known to you, but you handled it greatly with no problems. But why is it now that uncertainty about how the evening is going to be, because you don't know what to expect, you don't know what kind of a job you're going to be handed in that night? Why that uncertainty alarms you? You have been swimming in an uncertain world, uncertain water all through your life. So that's the experience and that's the confidence that you should rely on. Not the confidence of the kind of work you've done, that I'm confident that I can handle the work because I've gained confidence in this industry. You don't need that. All you need to remind yourself is that I am a master of swimming in an uncertain ocean because I've done that since childhood when I was born. Nothing was ever clear, known, or 100% for me. Nothing was ever a conclusion for me. I swam and I didn't know where the shores were, but I swam hoping that I will find a piece of wood and eventually I float with it and to some kind of a shore somewhere. So uncertainty is my middle name. So I'm not going to worry about what's tonight going to be. I'll see it. And if I need help, I'll ask supervisors. If I don't need help, I don't need help. So what's this guessing game? And then believing the guessing game for the time that hasn't even appeared, but you think that's how it's going to be in the future time as you go to work. Does that make sense to you? I mean, is that something that you can actually use? The logic of it, that I lived all my life in an uncertain world, from my food, from where to sleep when I was a little boy, didn't know, from if my parents gonna make it. I didn't know most of the stuff, to exams, to anything else, jobs, money, pay the rent. Even today, you don't know what happens if you're going to have the rent to pay at the end of the month. Who knows? Maybe, I don't know. Far-fetched, but hospitals could go out of business. Mind you, they won't. But, everything is uncertain. So what do you think? Is that something that would answer your question? Let's see. Steven says, oh, sorry, Miriam, my notification were actually turned off. I fixed it. Okay, good. That's good. And then Steven says, that's so true, Mehran. I guess it's good to get out of your comfort zone, even though it may be difficult at times. It may be difficult at times, but a million years ago, the cavemen, our ancestors, They didn't know shit about their day. They didn't know if they're going to be eaten by a dinosaur or some wild animal, or they're going to find food to eat that day, or their village or their little shelter is going to be run over by some other thugs here and there who are looking for chicken or woman or food or whatever else that could be of the question of the day a million years ago. So our whole basic DNA is based on survival. We are not afraid of not knowing what's going to be happening because we have some ability to make judgments and analyze the situation and make a decision to the best of our ability to bring to fruition whatever it is that we hope to accomplish. We've done that for millions of years. It's in your genes. You can't even fail if you wanted to. You can't be bothered by any of these unknown things, even if you wanted to. Why? Because you're hardwired programmed to live in an uncertain world. So this thing that you think, it's a fictitious thing that because you want to be a perfectionist, because you want to score point with the bosses or however data is out there, because you want to make things easy for yourself, you just focus on that. Would I know what's going to be expecting? What should I be expecting tonight so I can be having an easy evening? That's the question. Otherwise, you're not afraid of things not being the way that you expect it to be that night. You're not afraid of not knowing what's coming tonight as part of your project tonight. You just want to be cozy and lazy, which we all do. And that's why you want to know so you can prepare to make it easy. That's part of a perfectionism of this kind of people who want to make things, everything goes perfectly well. But you need to let that go and understand that you're genetically coded for living in an uncertain world, which was a million years ago in jungles and wherever. And today is a different jungle, but we have been doing it, whether you question it or not, since childhood. So you have no fear of not knowing what kind of a thing to expect that night before you go to your shift. Focus on that. And the rest, you will handle it with your judgment, know how. And if you don't know, you make a judgment, you ask, you get help. No brainer. You're not going into a Sahara at nighttime with no vision, no light, no nothing, trying to look for food. So it's not a real hazard to be worried about into anxiety. And whenever you have an anxiety, honestly, if you had an anxiety, you just go double breath, one breath, and then one on top of it before you exhale. Then you exhale easily, softly, slowly, and then breathe normally and do that again. And then after that, breathe normally and do that again. 2, 3 times, 4 times, as many times as you want. The anxiety will go away. This is how it's going to look like. And then breathe normally. Then one more time. One breath and one on top. Normally. What's anxiety? I'm too mellow right now. That works. All right. And Steven says that helps me run. I think of this before work. Thank you. You're quite welcome. And okay. And so let's go to the next super chat. It's Joseph Casamo. He says, hi, not enough character limit question below. Okay. All right. Joseph says, Joseph says, hello, hope you're doing well. Are you a night owl? Yeah, I do. I am. I am a night owl. And Joseph says, do you think it's worse for women to be promiscuous than men? What do you mean worse? Is it more possible for women to be promiscuous than men, or worse in what way? It says it has it has a worse effect on them, whereas with men we gain experience and are able to better lead a woman and thus ourselves. Well, to begin with, you're assuming that every woman needs to be led. That's not true. Many women know how to lead their life better than men. And by no stretch of meaning, I'm a feminist. No, I'm not a feminist. I like women for being women and feminine, but their capabilities are as equal as it can get with us men. They can achieve anything that they put their mind to it, like every one of us. Every one of us can achieve anything if I put our mind to it. So you thinking that sleeping with so many women is going to give you experience and you can lead women, that's crock of bullshit. I mean, how can you even say that? Women are just as human as we are. They have needs to have sexual intercourse, romantic experiences, and love, and so on and so forth. No different than us. Culturally, it may be frowned upon. I understand that. And every one of us men, regardless of what kind of culture we've been raised in, universally all around the world, we're kind of possessive of our women, and we pride ourselves with the kind of woman we are. And the less they have been involved with other men, the more we feel they are valuable, because it is something that I have, but nobody else could, or not too many other people had the chance to have the opportunity to get to know that special person and the rest of it. So, to begin with, let's correct that. It is culturally more acceptable and emotionally less detrimental or less influential or less emotionally involved for men than it would be for women, because it is a more involved experience um, for women due to their nature being different than ours. And so that's why most women, especially not uh, in North America, North American women have changed so much that they find it a scoring point if they have slept with 100 men or 40, 50 men. But most men around the world, they frown upon a woman who has had 40, 50 different boyfriends or sexual intercourse. Whether it's fair or not, I'm not the judge of that, but I'm saying that's what most men feel. It's not comfortable for them to be with a woman who has had 40, 50 boyfriends. Yet, a man who has had 40, 50 experiences of sexual experiences with different women, um, it's culturally and traditionally not a big deal. So that's all I can say about that. Let's see what the rest of your question is. It says, would you ever be with a woman after a breakup who has been with another man since the breakup? This has not happened to me, but for me personally, I don't think I would. Another man, what? entered you then. Okay. it's not it's not about personally or not personally. Look at the message you're receiving. When your girlfriend leaves you, and in a short span of time, like maybe a few weeks afterwards, she's engaged in a sexual relationship with another man, that already tells you that she can walk away from a relationship and move on after having walked away very easily, which represents that woman is not emotionally that healthy for she can close her senses and perhaps try to deal with her situation through having another relationship very quickly. That's not really healthy because, as you know, that's called rebound sex. But if a woman, just like a healthy person, has had this situation that wanted to end the relationship and the relationship wasn't going anywhere, there was no romance in it, there's lots of conflicts and distasteful interactions, well, that's acceptable because it's not like she just broke up and went with another person. She had broken up maybe years later, I mean, years before, but not necessarily broke it off from seeing each other, but mentally in the relationship, it had ended long before the physical separation. So, having said that, if this happens in a normal setting, such as a relationship breaks off and then maybe a few months passes and each one of you, you or the girl, find another relationship which is normal, eventually everybody has to move on, and then it takes a while or not while, who cares, but a while later, like months later, you guys get seem to be reconnected and hit it off and find more commonalities and more maturity, that should be okay too. But immediately after breakup, somebody finds another one, has a one night stand or a few night stands, and then after a few weeks wants to come back to the other one, whether you're a man or a woman, you're just going back to your partner. Eh, no, that wouldn't be something that you should entertain because it means uh, the person who actually went and had sex with somebody else hadn't even separated herself from this relationship long enough, which means when she's coming back, she hasn't separated herself from that relationship and she hasn't fulfilled the problems that you were solving before the breakup yet, and yet coming back. All the problems are still the same. They're still there. So what is she coming back to, or what are you accepting her back, or why are you both accepting each other? The problems are still there. That's why you broke up. Coming back doesn't mean the problems that caused you to break up is also gone. No, it just means for some reason you couldn't find something better, or you just, for any financial reasons or whatever reasons, it's just coming back. Maybe you don't have a place to stay. But the problems that caused you guys not to be together is still there. You haven't resolved those to come back. So why are you coming back? That's important to know the reason. All right. And thank you, Joseph, for the super chat. And let's see who is going to be having a super chat requesting question. And Steven says, looking back at a year ago, that girl that I was with was a real shitty girlfriend. Hallelujah. It bloody takes you a year and so after 1,000,000 times, someone that I know been discussing this with you, you come to that conclusion tonight. Says, I'm upset with how I treated myself at that time. And you should be upset. You should actually go, I mean, I can't say that, you know, slap yourself in the face. Respect yourself. You didn't respect yourself. You respected your desire for pleasure, and you respected your shortcomings to cuddle. And you gave kudos to some unqualified bitch who actually had you wrapped around her finger, and she would go and fuck somebody else and come back, and you still would accept her. So for that reason, I need to get the ugly stick and hit it on your head. But I'm sure you've learned your lesson. You're wiser now. You're wiser, stronger, and more mature. God bless you. I know you've done well. Although you shit all over yourself for the first while, but I know you're a much stronger person now, and that's all we care about. Guys, remember that if we are looking for questions, that means before that we are looking for a super chat, because we have mentioned that the channel will die unless we have economically viable channel. So I could see questions, but I don't see any super chat other than Steve's and Joseph's. All right. Steven says, I for sure learned my lesson. I'm not codependent any longer. Yes. I hope to God you're not, because otherwise I would have to get on a plane along with my ugly stick, and I have to declare that I have the ugly stick with me, and I'll come right at your door, beat the crap out of you. Steven says, is that a background Hawaii? Yeah, the background is Hawaii, and I don't know how it just happened, but it's wonderful that I could manage that, because at least gives us some ambiance rather than just looking at my apartment's wall. By the way, how do you guys like the background? Does it work for you? It works for me, so I'm not changing it no matter what the hell you guys say. However, so we have a whopping 9 people here from all around the world, and that's wonderful. Now, you guys have forgotten that our protocol is what? Gender, age, and where you're tuning in from. So other than Stephen, nobody has declared. Stephen, if you remember, said right at the outset, here it is. See what Stephen said? Stephen, M, 43 LA, male, 43 Los Angeles. I mean, that's the way to do it. What happened to you guys? You guys forgot? Even Mr. Crusher didn't do that. All right. And Joseph didn't do that either. Joseph. And Yash says, hello, sir. Good morning. Good morning, Yash. Yash says, what should I do even? Yash, we have the new rule. We have all decided that the channel must not die and must survive. For that, we need to have super chat with every question. Otherwise, we will not survive. We need to be financially healthy, and we are not. And I'm no longer going to spend a dime out of my pocket for this channel. Whether the channel makes money out of the subscriptions and out of the viewership and out of super chats, or dies. And I let it die because I've done it for 13 years, 3,000 videos, and over maybe 1,000 videos on OCD and OCD subsets, intrusive thoughts, pure O, and 3,000 on breakups and so on. So it's an elaborate channel, helped so many thousands and hundreds of thousands of people or millions of people over the years, and I have financed it. And so it's time now that everybody chips in every time that we have live stream with super chats for their questions. Otherwise, I won't put live streams because we just need to survive. The channel must not be deleted, must not die. And if we don't have it, then there would be no videos or no live streams, just because it doesn't make sense, right? Do you guys go to work and not get money? You wouldn't go to work. Same thing. For 13 years, I've done it. So you guys figure out if you want the channel or not. Otherwise, we just chat. Joseph says, you're 100% right. Women and men are both equally capable. That's why I wonder about promiscuity and the effect it has on women compared to men. I think we all want women to have less sexual partners. Yes, we all do. It's because that's our nature. And also the woman's number of sexual relationships, if it ends up being 40, 50, or like the guy's number of sexual relationships, their value diminishes. It's not something I say, or I mean any demeaning way of meaning to it. No, but that's the way it is. A high value woman is a woman who is preserved and preserves herself for special relationship. And to a man who is also high value, expects that speciality, because we men like to think we're special. We can't feel special if the woman that we're with has had 50 boyfriends. I tell you, even women would not feel that fond of their boyfriend having had, a couple of hundred sexual relationships before they get serious. I mean, it works both ways, but different, of course. But this is how most men are wired up to be. It's just not simply something we can condone. Yash says, why I can't send super chat? I don't know. Maybe you don't have an account on YouTube and you don't have a, I don't know, credit card attached to it or something. It is saying you're unable because of terms and conditions. What's the terms and conditions? Maybe that means you don't have an account, or you don't have a credit card on your account. I don't know how it works, because I don't know. Max Daniel says, hi, Miran. I hope you're well. Says, my name is Max. I spoke to you a few months ago regarding a tough breakup I initiated 8 months ago, still struggling to let go and move on. What were the reasons that you initiated that? Because Max, I don't exactly remember. I may remember that I spoke with you eventually, but you got to remind yourself, what was your reasons for initiating the breakup? What you're missing or struggling to move on is the selective, memorable, pleasurable moments of that relationship, rather than focusing on the reasons that you broke up with her, which those reasons still exist. But you're not focused on the reasons being exist, you're focused on the pleasure, because we are about pain or pleasure. And we don't usually naturally gravitate toward remembering the pain. That's how human psyche is put together. But you will remember the pleasure and what's not to like about the pleasure. That's why many boyfriend girlfriends get back together after breakup, which is a terrible mistake if they haven't thought it through. But they get back together because they say they miss each other, but they don't. They miss the pleasurable parts of that relationship without thinking about how many unpleasant parts to that relationship during the duration of that relationship was. And since they only focus on the pleasure, the displeasure moments disappear. They don't come in forefront of your vision or your memory, and you can't think of a reason why you broke up. And the lust and sex and pleasurable moments gets into your head, and then your desire, because you're thinking about pleasure moments, the brain has the prerequisite to desire already recorded when long time ago when you guys start desiring each other and you had to meet a certain prerequisite for desire to be born. There is a video I have on it, desire and how it is born. And those prerequisites for desire to be born then is recorded in your memory. So when you reminisce about pleasurable moments of the relationship, the brain finds security in that memory. And while it's in the memory enjoying that psychological security, it also sees the other person's prerequisite to desire file to be triggered open. And the brain feels, in fact, then you would feel through the brain's experience that you desire her again. That desire prerequisites have been put together just now, because the brain doesn't know that this is a memory. Brain reacts to the memory even as if it's actual right now. So once the prerequisite file is open, the brain becomes affected by thinking that the prerequisites for a desire to be born has been met, and then desires her and she desires you, whatever the situation may be. And you guys think that you miss each other. You don't. You just miss the pleasurable part, and you are the instrument for this pleasure, and you're willing to get back together to bring to fruition that pleasure that you're desiring. So, in fact, you're in love with fulfilling your desire. You're in love with complying to your desire and bring pleasure to desire. That's the desire that we are in love with, not the X. All right, desire for pleasure. Remember that. Now, Max, you just got a free one. You tricked me into it. No, I knew it full well. That is, but because you haven't been here for so long, I did give you the answer, a discussion without the super chat. But remember, guys, if you want us to survive, super chat is the way to go. There we go. Oh my goodness, Max has actually met up with this gift to us, and I appreciate that. We banked on Max, and Max came through. Thank you for that, Max. Max says, spoke to you on Skype a few months ago about struggling to let go of X. I dumped due to long-term issues such as religion, etc. Still a struggle to accept. Well, okay, just exactly as I said, those issues, religion and so on and so forth, still exist. She hasn't changed her religion, or you're not willing to change yours. Those conflicts and divisions, differences, still exist. So what is it that you think you actually are struggling to move on? You decided for these differences, it's not going to work out and it wasn't pleasant. Just because you have forgotten the unpleasantry of the experience doesn't mean those unpleasantries or the reasons for them are no longer in existence. They're still there. It's just that you're outside of that forum. If you step back into that hall, the same pictures on the wall, the same slippery floors, the same everything that caused you to leave the hall is still there. But you're outside, you don't feel it. Outside floor is not slippery. Outside walls don't have those pictures that offended you, so to speak, or whatever, uncomfortable, or bad quality pictures. That's why you are not feeling the emotions that you received when you were in that hall, when you were in that relationship. You're outside, and brain goes towards pleasure parts of the life, doesn't remember the shitty part. When you come back to the same hellhole or the same situation, well, the same reasons that caused you to leave are still there. So what does it take for you to move on? To go back, fall into the same shit again, to feel the pain and to feel that it sucks and smell and the stink of the whole thing because you fall into shit again, and then you want to move on? And what happens if you keep thinking about the pleasurable points again and you forget about the pain because you moved on a bit, and then you say, oh, maybe I should go back because I'm struggling to move on? Your decision to move on should not be based on you missing a pleasure or missing the experiences that you had, the desire that you had. You should be moving on based on the fact that there were enough reasons for you not to want to be in that situation because it was not palatable, was not meeting your standards, and it was not compatible. If you remember why, then you will remember that all those whys that you cause you to move on or decide to move on still there. And if you go back, you'll still want to move on. So now that you're out, better keep moving on until you completely are far away from it so you won't feel struggling to move on. Fucking move on. Put the other step down and move on. Get another girlfriend and focus on the problems. And then you'll be fine. Max. And Max has met a girl in Australia at university who was from Malaysia. She was Muslim, therefore realized we would not work long term. After I met her family last summer when I took a trip to Malaysia. Yeah, I remember that. I actually remember that. Yeah. So listen, that was the right decision. I remember, vaguely the story and the family and experience. And I think there was a brother in there too somewhere. Yeah, her brother was something about him. Listen, I don't care what you think. I don't care how much you think it was pleasurable. Get your act together, do the right thing, move on. That's the decision you made then, which naturally you should be wiser now, but that was the right decision. And now follow it through. That's all. As tough as it might be, follow it through. And understand that this was the right decision. Is not going to be any different, or those changes and difficulties or challenges or reasons are still there. So you're going to come back to the same conclusion after a while again. The lovey-dovey and sex and all that, but then you will come to the same conclusion because it's not going to work. Because you had reasons to believe that it's not going to work, and those reasons will remain and will stay. So just pull your socks up and bite the bullet. Move on. There is no magic to it. Ultimately, it is you who's going to take one step after the other and move the fuck out of this thing. Otherwise, you will be constantly there in the vortex of bullshit, and you won't allow yourself to simply say, listen, have some balls, and the life and the world is not going to be summed up in one relationship or one woman or one kind of pleasure that you're seeking, and move out. And you will see how many other amazing women they can have compatibility with, and you will be perfectly happy. But first step is to move out of the situation that you have good reasons to believe it wasn't going to work. You made the right decision. Now continue it on. Finish it. Finish it in your own way. Move on. There is no magic word other than you just willpower, gear it up, and say, I don't care how pleasurable I might remember things. I got to do the right thing. And the right thing is that. All right. Max says she still keeps begging me to get back with her, and I'm struggling to say no. You're not struggling to say no to the reasons that you decided to break up with her. You're struggling to say no to her sex because you haven't moved on to find another girlfriend. The reason you are considering all these, because when you decided to move on, you didn't move on. First move on and then see if you miss her. If you haven't moved on but thought of right now, you're in this state of I thought to move on, even though you're not with her, but naturally you have not moved on, because if you had moved on, you wouldn't be thinking about her, which means you decided to move on, but you really didn't. Moving on means you're going on about your business, about your life, and finding another girlfriend and having another relationship and so on. As long as that vacuum is still there, you haven't found a relationship, you haven't found another great girlfriend, then the vacuum there is begging you to fill it up. And what's better and easier to filling up than the ex-girlfriend? And she also is asking you to take her back. So what are you going to be thinking? Your brain is not doing the thinking right now. Another brain is doing the thinking. Oh, why not? I want it. I haven't had it for a while. So why do you? She's easy. She's willing. Maybe I'll. These are all what you are the reason that you haven't moved on. It's not like you're struggling because there's some kind of a mystical reasons is there. You're struggling because you haven't had the balls to actually comply with your own decision, which you had reasons for it. Unless you actually respect your own decision for the reasons that you made that decision and move on and experience life further, you will always think that maybe I should get back with her because she's asking you. No man is easy for him to say no when a woman would throw herself onto him. If you don't have enough things in common with her, then he should be strong enough to say, I don't care how easy that is. It's not compatible, and I won't last with her a year. And for that reason, you will not accept that question in your head that I'm struggling. You will say, yeah, I may be struggling, but I'm struggling because I want to have sex. I'm not struggling because she's not the right girl for me. I know that she's not the right girl for me. That was your decision 11 months ago. So unless she has changed her religion, unless she has changed whatever you didn't like about her, and you've changed things that she didn't like about, if there is such thing, then there is no reason to think this is going to work this time. If you wanted to work, it would have worked last time. I don't have anything else to say. Especially for a 799, that's what you All right, I'm in a goofy mood, and it's not the beer because beer has zero alcohol, no alcohol, zero. Never had, never will. But it's refreshing. Lots of vitamin B. All right. Let's see, Max, is this sufficient for you? Did it help you out at all? Max says, thank you very much, Mehran. Your wise perspective is always very helpful. I'm delighted that I could be of some help. I appreciate that. Max says, haha, great value for $7.99. You're welcome. My pleasure. And thank you for the super chat. That's for sure. All right. I'm going to respond to Joseph. because let's see why he hasn't put a super chat. Let's see his reason. Is it Joseph or no? Not Joseph. Sorry about that. Joseph has done that. There's somebody else that I think asked the question, but okay, no, Joseph, I think, is continuing something that I don't think I continued that. Let's deal with Joseph's question. Joseph continues his the week after thing. No, the weeks after thing is definitely obvious. I don't get it. So there's no way would that be tolerable ever. Okay, all right. But what if it's like 6 to 8 months after breakup and you reconnect? Well, what's wrong with that? 6 to 8 months is a lifetime. And you find that she had sex. Yeah, she had sex. Didn't you have sex? What do you think? She's not supposed to have sex? First of all, Joseph, tell me age, gender, and where you're tuning in from. Everybody should do that. If you don't, there it is. Joseph says, I'm 23, New York. But what is your background? You talk to me as your culture is not North American born culture, or at least you've had a different culture before you you lived in the United States. And that's the culture I'm interested to know, because uh, things that you're saying, I can see this is not North American way of thinking as far as I know. So help me out in that. Joseph says, just can't fit it in the super chat box. What is it that you can't fit in the super chat box? We just want money. We don't want anything else. So how big is it? You can't fit in super chat box. I asked the second super G. He says, hi, I asked the second G. He says, just can't fit the super. Okay, Joseph, you speaking English to me because it's hard to understand what the hell you're talking about. Let me go back to your questions. Joseph says, one thing that is really difficult about my breakup personally is not just that loss of a partner, but the loss is a friend. The death of our friendship. Oh, big fucking deal. Death of a friendship. What friendship? If you guys were boyfriend, girlfriend, when you break up, when you decided to be boyfriend, girlfriend, you already decided it's not a friendship anymore. It's one step higher. Now, that comes with the risk of if it doesn't work out, there'll never be friendship again because it doesn't work that way. You get acquainted, you get to know each other, you become friends, you get to know each other more, you may become romantically involved, then you become boyfriend, girlfriend, and maybe some would end up getting married. But you can't be going backward, that you started this, you came to boyfriend, girlfriend, it didn't work out, you broke up, and now you're going to go back to friend again. Then what's next? Because there's always a sequence of events. If you go back to friend, where you're supposed to expect to become more friend and then boyfriend, girlfriend, but you've already been there and it didn't work out. So why the hell do you want to start over and go through the same sequence of events when you already know the end of it didn't work out? At least at this juncture, maybe a year later, maybe you would. So it won't go back to friendship anymore. It will just end until you guys meet again after a certain number of months or years pass and certain different kind of a stage of life you would be in, and then you would maybe justify it to rekindle and get to know each other and find out what changes you've made and all that so forth. You miss friends, so big deal. You're 23 years old, find other friends, because there is a risk of losing a friend when you want to go further with a friend. That's it. You don't want to lose a friend, then don't go further with a friend. But you want to go further, then have the risk of it might not work out and you lose a friend as well. Otherwise, it'll be artificial friends. You guys will never be friends again. What? You're going to be friends and go to activities, like you're going to go to movies, and then just a few months ago in the movies, you were having a hand on each other's legs or hand in hand. Now, this time you're going to go and you're going to be conscious about it and not do it. No, it looks so awkward that you end up not wanting to see each other at all. So that's normal, and don't expect to remain friend. What are you going to do if you find another girlfriend? You're going to tell her, well, this is my friend, but we used to be boyfriend, girlfriend. We slept together, but now that I'm with you and I'm just friend with her. See how that goes. What would you think if she would have told you that? Says, look, she says she was with this guy as boyfriend, girlfriend, and they broke up. Now they're just friends. Now she's your girlfriend. Are you going to go for that? That she's associating with the ex-boyfriend, but it's just friends because they were friends before they became boyfriend, girlfriend. Now that the boyfriend, girlfriend didn't work out, they broke up. Now they're just friends again. So therefore, nothing to worry about. Yes, there is. She's having a friendship with her ex. It's not a friend anymore. So you can't expect that to be acceptable to any girl, as you don't accept it if a girl would lay on you this kind of a scenario. Joseph said, I also lost my uncle 3 weeks ago. My condolences, Joseph, after breakup. He died by suicide. So double grief made it really difficult to process this all as well. Are you coming up with excuses because your uncle died, so therefore you got to be friend with the girlfriend that it didn't work out as a boyfriend, girlfriend? Don't lay that on that subject. Don't lay that on yourself, and don't put that burden on your uncle's passing. None of them are right way of considering this. Each one of them different. Don't turn yourself into a victim that I have to be looked upon as a sorry case, so have pity on me and be friend again. I also lost my uncle. I'm sorry to hear that, of course, and condolences again, but you cannot use that as an excuse to get some kind of that's a disrespect to your uncle, in my opinion. So just move on. Didn't work out. Says, but I'm getting better day by day. Your advice helps. My advice is don't mix them. Don't come up with excuses. Don't feel like a victim. You had a girlfriend. It didn't work out. You were friends before. You shouldn't have gone further, but you felt like it. And kudos to you. You took it and it didn't work out. So it's not going to go back to friend. Now you move on with your life. You gain an experience. It's a valuable experience. And you go on with the rest of your life and find bigger and better things. This is part of your life. You're not supposed to be a friend with this girl forever. You're 23 years old. You'll find many other journeys and many other little destinations or opportunities through your journey. And that's what you should focus on. This was another experience. You're not supposed to be permanent. Nothing in this life is permanent. We are living in the venue of impermanent. And in an impermanent journey, you want to create a permanent situation, whether this is a friendship you want today or something else. No. Everything, unfortunately or fortunately, comes to an end at some time. Cherish the experience, learn from it, and move the fuck on. And don't get stuck with all these kind of bullshit of, I need friends. No, you don't need friends. You need friends. You had the friend. It didn't work out. Now another friend. Life is big in finding friends and other endeavors. So don't baby yourself. And don't disrespect the experience by constantly trying to say, I still want. No, yeah, man, and handle it. That's what happened, and that's what you learned. Adios then. Now we have another super chat from Stephen. Stephen, what are you doing? You're paying us enough. You're not supposed to be paying for other people who are not paying, but we appreciate it. So as Sensei Chris says, you shouldn't do that, but I like it. Gutsy, unfair, but I like it. It's very fair to us. So he says, here's some more to answer everyone else's question. So you paid for other people. You treated everybody. What is this, a bar? You're buying around for everybody? You're not supposed to do that. Everybody's supposed to carry their own weight, for God's sake. This is what I've done for 13 years. I paid for everyone, and I got nothing at the end. Everybody left this channel to die. Now you're doing it. Don't do it anymore. But I appreciate it. I like it. So, and he says, everyone has a question. Says, what's the best way to stay positive with wanting your desires in life to work out? Okay, that's an interesting. Let's read it again. So, what's the best way to stay positive with wanting your desires in life to work out? Desire itself is got a motivation built in. Desire doesn't need you to be positive about making your desires come to fruition. Desire, the whole concept of desire is motivation to fulfill it. Otherwise, desire wouldn't be desire if there would be no desire to fulfill it. Desire comes with the desire for pleasure, with the desire to fulfill it, with the desire automatically built in to see it through. So you don't need to worry about being positive to fulfill your desire, because desire is something that you're homing on all your life because you're in love with your desire. You live because of your desires. Now, to control the unnecessary and misplaced desires, that's a different story. Otherwise, good desires, positive desires, and effective ones, and the ones that is going to make your life more valuable and more of quality, that doesn't need to stay positive, because naturally it's going to motivate you, because you can see what pleasure you will gain by fulfilling that particular desire that is a positive desire, and it's going to give you results that you would be elated. So naturally, you will be positive without wanting to be positive or needing to be positive. But having said that, because you paid for the question, I have to give you a second option. A second option is that the best way to stay positive with wanting your desire, beside of what I just said, that you don't need to want to be positive, because you will be positive, because that's the nature of desire, wanting. That's what it is. You can't not be positive when you have a desire. But having said that, the best way to stay on course with fulfilling your desire is to focus on the benefits and translation of fulfilling that desire, the value of it to your life, to what's ailing you. Desire is a remedy for an ailment. Let's put it that way, if you will. On top of whatever else you feel about desire and whatever explanation you have for desire, desire is also a remedy to an ailment. So naturally, you're gravitated toward fulfilling the desire because it's going to remedy an ailment, a need. So when you translate the desire to its benefit to your life, then naturally you will be motivated and positive more than ever, because you don't just focus on bringing pleasure to that desire by fulfilling the desire, bringing pleasure to it, you're also focusing on the effects of it to the value and quality of your daily life. For example, you desire to have a job and you say, how can I keep that desire going? Well, translate what happens if you get that job that you desire. You will have a better apartment. You will have a more comfortable time. You will have more money to have better food. You'll have more money to go on vacation. So when you translate the pleasure and the results and the effects and the outcome of fulfilling a desire, that translation will show you what effects it will have on the quality of your life. And that would motivate you to stay positive, to fulfill that desire, even so it might look so hard to achieve, but because you now know what it can do for you, what its value is by having translated it, then you will stick with it and make sure you do whatever you can at any time that you can to bring that desire to fruition. Because now you know why it is important, because of what it's going to do, the effect of it, the result of it, the benefit of fulfilling that desire to your life. Now it has a meaning. It's not just pleasure, it actually has a fulfilling and practical meaning to it. And that's what's going to make it be positively charged to make that desire come to fruition. That was a pretty good answer, I must say. So your $10 is well spent. Zadkil, where have you been? Says, hey, Mehran Jan, okay. Do you think it's okay to choose to live life as a single man permanently? Well, you say that because you don't have any pussy to sleep with. Once you do have that, you will never think that way again. Right now, it seems to me it's been tough for you to find a good, proper, or compatible girlfriend. And for that reason, you're fed up. And you said, fuck it, I don't want it anymore. And what if I just live my life and enjoy my life without having any girlfriend? Well, that's perfectly fine. You don't have to. You may get to a point in life that actually you're not necessarily, as much as you want to have a wonderful girlfriend, but you're not willing to sacrifice all the things you have built, all the mechanical process, the routine, the order of life that you've created through a certain lifestyle. You're not willing to sacrifice that just to get a girlfriend. That's fine. That's where I am. I've had many girlfriends, relationships, marriages, and I've understood the value of them is very high, but at the same time, there's something also out there that is very valuable. Your ability to fulfill your goals, your ability to actually achieve certain goals, your ability to have a certain kind of a schedule that you can keep without rushing, without being disappointed, to have a peace of mind, to be able to fulfill what you want to accomplish in this life. You've learned experiences, you're wise enough to know the value of everything in this life. And you can see that the sum of all these values in this life, your activities, your research, you're helping others, you're accomplishing certain tasks, the value of all these accumulated together is equal, if not higher, than the value of not having these, but having a girlfriend. So you need to actually find a balance in having a girlfriend which is right for you, while you can be allowed to be free to perform your goals in life and have that lifestyle and tranquil lifestyle as you've been having. So that would be a good combination. But if you're supposed to allow something to disappear, die just to get a girlfriend, you will come to a conclusion that it's not worth it, because having a girlfriend is another human being, and that human being's psyche is in dynamic movement. She may like you today and love you tomorrow and hate you the next day and break up with you. And if you have put all the weight on your relationship, that's what's going to make you happy, and you let go all the other things that you've accomplished or wanted to accomplish, and all your abilities and learned things, just to be with that. And when she leaves, when she changes as a human being, she has the right to change her mind or her feelings or her emotions or her needs. And for that reason, she could change her mind. And then you have left with nothing but your dick in your hand. Why? Because you sacrificed everything just to be between her legs. And that's not going to serve you well when you get older, because you want to show something that you have accomplished in this life. And that's not about how many girlfriends you had. It's about what a good relationship you had with someone, that's for sure. That's very valuable. But it's also about what you've accomplished, whom you have helped, what you've learned, what experience you've gained, what wisdom you've gained. Are you the same shit when you were 10 years ago? Or have you evolved to a level that you value yourself more because of what you have accomplished, and because of how you've managed your life, and because of how you got up every time you hit the ground and fell down? These are the experiences that makes you feel valuable, not the girlfriend that is going to possibly change her mind, and she has the right to do so. Or conflicts happens and then you guys are no longer together. It is wonderful to have a wonderful relationship, but I'm saying it's not written in stone. It's not a guaranteed. So you don't want to jeopardize other things that you can accomplish in life and other things you've learned in life, and continue your journey on the basis of all these positive effects and experiences, than just letting it all go for a relationship. Now, having said that, let me read what your question is. It says, do you think it's okay to live your life with as a single man permanently? Yeah, why not? If you can handle it, why not? Enjoy. Go and accomplish your life however you want and be single. But I bet you, once you see the right girl, uh, you will have pleasures that you never thought you would. And I'm not talking just about sexual. The feeling that somebody loves you, it's a very good feeling. And the feeling to be good to someone, it's a very good feeling. But alongside with other talents that you have in life and capabilities you have in life to fulfill your projects, plans, aspirations. So you can't sacrifice one for the other. You can have both if you learn how to choose and how to be able to manage, rather than trying to juggle things when there's a possibility all of them could fall down. And says, I have worked hard on myself and grew up as a result, but the increased attention feels not genuine. Increased attention? What do you mean? There are too many girls paying attention to you? Zudkil says 31, male, born and living in Sweden with Iranian parents. Ah, I remember now. And Steven says, thank you. That really helped, especially with the second part. Delighted. Ah, Zadkil says, yes, too many girls. Well, if there are too many girls paying attention to you, you can't blame them, because it's only up to you to which one you pay attention to. Just because so many people are paying attention to you doesn't mean you should pay attention to all of them. What do you do if there are going to be 10 job offers come to you? You're going to take them all? You're going to pay attention to all? You're going to fuck them all up. So what are you going to do? You're going to see the criteria, qualifications, what you're hoping to get in that job, what your expertise are, which one fits you best, and you're going to choose one and you become the best you can in that field. If you do that, there's not a problem how many job offers come to you. 100 attentions. Same thing with girls. If you got 4 or 5 girls paying attention to you, well, you got to see which one actually suits you best. Having dated them all after a few weeks or few months, you will be able to be in a place to come to a conclusion about your decision, because you can't go forever just juggling and enjoying the attention of all of them, because you can't pay attention to all 10 of them or 5 of them. Maybe 2 or 3, but not more. Don't be wishful thinking. You're gonna, chop your own. You're gonna stumble on your own foot. So it's risky, and you may end up losing all of them. At the same time, you will be in a position to know which one is most compatible to you, and you pay your attention and accept her attention only. Then you're free. So you can't say, oh, because there's so many girls paying attention to me, then I want to be single for the rest of my life. That's fucking stupid. It's like saying there's so many beautiful restaurants there with so many foods that I prefer not ever eat again the rest of my life. That's pretty fucked up, isn't it? It's not a good analogy that you came up with. I mean, it's not a good, respond to your so-called challenge. So simply choose 1 or 2 or maximum 3, and then eventually out of those 3, you will come to understand that you got to choose 1. Otherwise, they all may go, or you may be confused. You don't even know what you want. And no one woman is going to be exactly what you want. There's always going to be other women who are better in some department, and your girlfriend is better in another department. But you can't be operating that way just because you want a woman to have everything that you want, and if she doesn't, then it's not good enough. Then you'll never have a girlfriend, because there is no girlfriend who will have everything that you might want. It's just humanly not so possible. The way to have a girlfriend that has everything you want is through time, that the content of your consciousness finds compassion, compatibility, unselfishness, the way you treat each other, the way you trust each other, the way you learn about each other, and that makes her perfect, regardless of how many other aesthetics you may or may not like about her, or would have liked it to be different, that others may have, but then they don't have what this one has. So focus on the quality of the relationship, and in the meantime, through that journey, you will find her to be actually perfect girlfriend, not necessarily aesthetically, but deeper than aesthetically, because you will just join in the way that you actually fit like a pieces of puzzle fit. That brings you comfort, tranquility, and security, physically and mentally, and that's what the real girlfriend, really a perfect girlfriend, is. Otherwise, there's always one woman more beautiful than the other woman. Physically, you can't find the perfect girlfriend, but in a relationship and as an interaction of energies and the way you treat each other in the spirits and in lifestyle, you can find the perfect girlfriend in time. And Zetsky says, no one fits me. I feel like they just seem to like that I am somewhat famous, good looking, in shape, tall and handsome. I was an overweight mess before. The attention before and after is jarring. Well, listen, kudos to you. You accomplished some amazing tasks. And why do you knock yourself down just because girls are paying attention to? You're not supposed to be respond to all their attentions. You have a choice. They pay so much attention to you, and you find the one that is most suitable to you. If not, you pay attention to none of them until you find someone that is meeting your standards and expectations. Simple as that. Why do you have to get out of the pool just because? Let's see, where does that expression, that example go? Just because too many people in it? Well, maybe that's a reason. But just because there's not enough people in it, why do you have to get out of the pool? Just wait around. Ah, there it is. Wait around. There will be more people joining in the pool. And you can see it's not so lonely. Right now, because you haven't found the one that you're looking for, amongst the ones that are paying attention to you, you feel lonely. But if you hang in there and learn from it and then fine tune your standards and expectations and move on in your life, accomplishing your task, and on this journey, on the way to accomplish your task, you're bound to run to someone that is as close as it can get to what you're looking for. That's when you will see why you hung around and you didn't come out of the pool. Yeah? Okay. So don't talk nonsense and enjoy, be friends with all of these wonderful girls. And if you don't think they're measuring up, then limit your interactions with them. They will dissipate themselves, they go away until through your life and through your endeavors, you will meet other people and you will find a girl that is most suitable to you. And that's when you say, oh, there she was. Just time had to pass by. I wasn't in that time and space that it was needed for me to meet her. And that's where it is. So you hang in there until she shows up. She might be on her way, but it's too far away for you to see it in through your field of vision. It's like you go in front of the ocean and you look and see there's no ships. Oh my goodness, there are no ships. But there are ships on the way. It's just too far for your field of vision to be able to see it in that field. So you got to wait until time passes, because as you see no ships on the ocean, there are ships on their way to you. They're still too far. But once they get closer, once the time passes by and they get closer to where you are, you'd be able to see them, assess them, and then find out if you want to do business with them or not. So in the meantime, don't think just because you can't see the girl you're looking for that it doesn't exist. I should be, a monk. No, she might be on her way, but at not the same time and space that it is now. As you're moving toward life, she's moving toward her life, you eventually fall into each other's field of vision and you'll be able to see, it was on her way. I just had to hang in there, do my life until we meet. And that will happen, I guarantee you. So, Stephen says, I was a little upset with myself the other night. I came to work and was in the ICU ICU. One of the rooms I was assigned to had the nurse that liked me, but I didn't get to see her because she's now day shift. I felt like I missed out tonight. What if? No. If you want to go there, well, let's go there. If it was meant to be, you would have met her. It wasn't time. Maybe you still meet her, but it wasn't the time this time. That's all. You know her name. You can be bold. If you really, really like her, or you think you like her, just leave a note for her in her box. There must be some kind of a way to contact her. It says, hey, I heard you were on the night shift when I was there, but too bad I couldn't see you and catch up with you. It'd be wonderful to catch up. If you're up for a coffee, this is my number. That's all. Nothing big deal. It's very friendly, and it's got no promises there and no real advancement there. Just a colleague. If she does call you, great. If she doesn't, Well, you got your answer. You didn't lose face. You didn't ask her out. At the same time, she didn't call. That means fuck it. She has a boyfriend or not interested. Either way, doesn't worth the time anymore. And if she does call, say you haven't lost face, you haven't promised anything. You say you played as you are, a friend. Say, oh, good to hear from you. Yeah, I was wondering where you went, but then I guess our shifts are not meeting. So what do you say we catch up for a bite to eat or maybe coffee or lunch or something? How's your schedule? You don't wait for her answer. Just follow it with another question. How's your schedule this Tuesday? She said, oh, I can't do Tuesday, but maybe Thursday. Oh, okay, Thursday's fine with me. And you have to work with it. So fuck it. I'm just going to call in sick and I'm going to go out with her. You know how it goes. So, and Stephen says, that's true. There's other girls here also. If I see her, I'll talk to her. Yeah, or you can choose what I mentioned. Either way, it's not detrimental. None of these relationships are detrimental. And that's not because I'm at the age that I am. I wish I knew this long time ago, long time ago. Although, come to think of it, I don't have any regrets. I got all the girls that I wanted to get. I went out with them and then I decided it works or it didn't work. So it wasn't like I made enough efforts to get to that point where I could have enough information to make a decision on the girl that I could have been infatuated with or interested in or thought that she's hot or whatever. I gave myself a certain opportunity to gauge her by making an effort to maybe go for tea with her or a lunch with her or one night date and just assess things. That's all you want. You want to have an opportunity to assess in a little different venue, a personal venue, rather than when you meet people at their job and they're good at their job and they're busy with their job, they seem so important and they seem so valuable. But when you see them in a different venue, then they are themselves. They don't carry that title of their workmanship, and therefore you judge them based on their individuality and their persona rather than their image at their work, which gives them certain credibility. That's what you have to do. All you want to do is to create an opportunity where you can see that person in her own personality without any image due to her positions anywhere. Not the image, herself. That's all. All right. Zed Kill says, thank you, Meran. I hope you're well. Thank you very much. I do my best. I was at the gym. If you guys don't have my Instagram, do maybe go on my Instagram and check it out. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to actually show you my page of Instagram stuff. I mean, all my contacts. And you guys can take a screenshot of my contacts and then here it is. Does it show? It doesn't show, does it? No, it doesn't. Okay. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do this. There's another trick up my sleeve. Author. There we go. So now, there you are. Copy. There you are. This is my contacts for Instagram and TikTok and all that. There you go. You got it? Oh, it didn't come on through. Okay, got it. I got to do it in different shots. All right, fine. I'll do that. All right. So number one is this. There we go. It came through. Number two is this. Let's see if it comes through. All right, it did come through. And number 4 is this. So you all have my contacts for social media stuff. There you are. Steven says you should choose a different background on each live chat. Change up the amis. Good idea. We can do that. Let's see if I can do that now. What do you guys think? Let me see if I can change the background. Let me see if I can change the background. I don't have anything to change the background, though. It's got nothing behind it. Let's see. Oh, that can work. All right. How about that? Does that work? It does, doesn't it? Not bad. Not bad. All right. What if I take this banner out? There we go. We're getting a hang of it, aren't we? Pretty much. Pretty much. Very good. Oh, I've got another one here. I've got backgrounds. Yeah, I can make that happen. Okay, it says customize your background. All right, fine. I got it. Because it's a free program, therefore I can't do too much. But these things are good enough. Yeah, outside environment looks better. You're right. Let's see what I can do. Anything else? Yeah, for now, we know I can change it again. Let's see what else I have here, because I can only do it in this roster that I have here. Apparently, it doesn't let me do more stuff. Let's see. How about that? It's not bad. You can leave it for that. You can keep it for that for now. All right. So, guys, it's been 1 hour and 42 minutes. And it says, how about a coffee shop in Vancouver? Yeah, that would be good too. I'll find some things, but if I can add it to this part of this program, that it would allow me to, because for the life of me, I still don't know how I was able to do this. I mean, it said background, I put the green, I chose green. And so I guess that's why it allows me to put these backgrounds, put myself on top of backgrounds. Okay, guys, I think it's about 3 o'clock in the morning, 10 minutes to 3. It's time for me to maybe watch some Star Trek and relax a little bit with my non-alcoholic beer. So that's when I say, I love you all. Thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to share a thing or two with you. I look forward to our next live stream. In the meantime, be good to yourself and to the others. I'll talk to you soon. And thanks for the super chats. Later.